Hi, my name is Steve Bridges, and I teach classes at Whatcom Community College in accounting, in business technology, and in office administration. And this is a short orientation video to show you how my classes are set up, how they're set up on Canvas, um, where you can find all your resources, how to get a hold of me, and just generally overviews of the whole course. I teach a lot of courses, and so they're set up pretty much the same. So a lot of the examples I'm going to give here are for Accounting 100, basically because it's the first one on the list. But as you look on the Canvas page I've set up here, just know that your course will be set up really, really similar to that. And the sort of the notes to take away from this are the same for your class, even if it's not Accounting 100. So first of all, let me pull up a share screen here. And one moment. This is my contact information. Again, my name is Steve Bridges. Here's my email. I would say that Canvas messaging is the easiest and best way to get a hold of me because it's going to go both to Canvas messaging and to my email. Um, this is my phone number. You think of it more like a voicemail number. I don't actually have a physical office, so there's no phone in this office that I don't have. So this number is just a voicemail. Of course, I will listen to it and I will get back to you, but just know that like nobody's going to pick up that phone. It's just going to be, a voicemail. You can find me on campus, whether you're in the hybrid or online sections. I am on campus to meet with you during these times. It's Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 4, and I'm in the business lab, which is in Learning Commons room 301. It's on the third floor of the Learning Commons building. Once you get to the top of the stairs, either you ask the person behind the desk where I'm at, or you just take a right and kind of go down that hall. And the lab is kind of at the end of that hall. The hours that I'm there, you can think of as your class hours. I know that on the schedule for the hybrid folks, I believe it's set for 1:30 to 3:30. That's great if you want to come in during that time, but anytime that I'm there, consider that your class time. And I'm happy to come in and help. And because of because I teach a lot of classes at once, during the time I'm in the lab, I'm not really up there lecturing, is that I'm just more there for one-on-one help for people who need it. So, any way that you want to get a hold of me, Canvas, in person, email, whatever, just get a hold of me if you're having any trouble at all, having trouble setting up your um, technology. I can connect you to the right people with the coursework itself, of course. And I should mention too that the business lab is how I've set it up is it's open for pretty much any student who's in accounting or business who wants to come in and get help with classes that maybe I don't even teach. Think of me as sort of like the accounting business tutor as well as an instructor. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And that's, I also have, excuse me, I should mention that I have Zoom hours. I don't have scheduled Zoom hours. It's something we kind of used to do mainly during COVID. You need to have schedule hours and people would come in and meet. Now it's pretty much just by appointment. This is the Zoom room ID. You'll see that on your Canvas page that ID is easy to find there too as well. Before we switch over to Canvas, let's look at one more thing here, and that's how classes work. I'm going to kind of mention these now, and then I'm going to go over them in the Canvas course. So on Canvas, the most important things you're going to have are, of course, the syllabus. I'll show you where to find that. You'll need student handouts pretty much for every class I teach. Maybe some classes don't use very many of them, but some use them every week. And those are basically the files that you'll use to complete your homework in. Because, again, it's a lot of technology classes like Word, Excel. Even in accounting, we use Excel sheets. And so that's where you'll find those files that you use to open up and work within while you're doing your homework. As I'll show you, I have the weekly assignments set up in different modules. Um, there's also information about how to submit homework and how to get feedback. And then one thing to always watch on Canvas is the announcements. I have it set up so they will show up at the top of your feed so that it'll be hard to miss them. But keep an eye out for those, I'm sick, the weather has canceled class, we found an error in the textbook, something like that, or assignment has changed a little bit. That's the kind of stuff that I'll be talking about in announcements, or, the software is having this issue right now, something like that. But keep an eye out for them, because that will be sort of like the real-time info we'll be giving through announcements. And we'll come back to this in a second, but let's go over to Canvas right now. So this again is the Accounting 100 Canvas page. And, if you've used Canvas before, it looks exactly like a Canvas page. But if you haven't, or you have a little less experience, let me quickly go over what, is on here. This whole section is kind of the before you begin or orientation section. If you're watching this video, you have clicked this tab, so we don't need to talk about that. This is where you'll find your syllabus. I'll just open this up. It's a document. You can download it, or it should just load up right here, and it does. Again, the same information that I, told you guys about earlier about my contact info, and then just a little bit about the course, and also the textbook, technology, and software parts that you will need for your class. And I should say right now, every class that I teach has a textbook. So you will be responsible for getting that textbook one way or the other. The bookstore carries all of them, but you could also, I believe we have copies of most of them in the library. You can check them out. Of course, and there are other online places to get textbooks. I use a number of Cengage books, so it could be possible that you could use the Cengage online, or Cengage Unlimited, I should say, program. But again, that is sort of your decision to make. No, I'll say every class is going to need Office. You get Microsoft Office for free just by being a student of Whatcom Community College. If you click this button here, it will take you to a page on how to install Office. Everybody's going to need to use, you're going to have internet either through the school, coming to school, or on your own to submit your work, of course. Let's see if there's anything else. And then just the rest of it is pretty much boilerplate syllabus stuff. Here's my grading scale and how the different things are weighted. There will be a specific one for your course. You can go check that out. And then just kind of a lot of the other, student conduct expectations, a tentative course schedule. We typically for every class do, we have one assignment due per week, but they're typically pretty big assignments. And on and on. It's just a syllabus. You can go read that. And that's that. Go back home here. This is where you'll get those student handouts I was talking about. Again, I've got download student handouts. You'll do your homework on these, or at least you'll do some of your homework on these. You click here, the files are downloaded, and they will typically open up, in there, and they're sorted by, here's assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, and final projects, things like that, Okay. So those are the student handouts. How to submit assignments. I have people submit zip files. This is mainly because in Canvas, when you turn something in, there's some of my assignments will have like, 6 or 7 files. And so instead of put a file, submit, put a file, submit, put a file, submit, I have everybody do zip files, which is to put everything in a single folder, zip that folder, and just turn it in as one file. And if you click on here, it's another video of me showing how to do that. But again, that's the file type that these will take. If you try to submit like just a Word file, it won't take it. Got to do it as a zip. Here are my office hours in Zoom link. As I said, Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 4. There's the Zoom link. Again, Zooms are by appointment. And then as we go down here, this is the overview of pretty much how the courses will work for my classes. Here's the assignment 1. Here's the due date. It's October 1st for accounting. Everybody's due date is the same time. It's every Wednesday. So starting next Wednesday, or excuse me, the first Wednesday that it's due, which in this case would be October 1st, then every Wednesday after that through the end of the quarter. And then it's just, hey, what do you do here? You read chapter 1, you review these exercises, complete these discussion questions, complete these exercises, complete these problems, and then you submit the assignment here. One thing to really note here is I don't have these for every class, but for a lot of my classes I do. You'll see it says plus example videos. And if you click on here, what you'll see is another video of me going through some examples of your homework. Um, this is especially the case in accounting classes and in a lot of the BTech classes, is that I will have just kind of like a starter video to be like, hey, this is the stuff we're working with, kind of a little bit of a mini lecture in there too, to kind of be like how this works, why this works the way it does, and then just kind of look at things um, to give you a little bit of a uh, head start getting the homework done. And so you'll always have some, something to work against. And again, these example videos that I'm doing are very, very similar to the stuff you're going to be doing in your homework, and in some cases are exactly what you're doing in your homework. Um, but you'll see each week is pretty much the same. Read this, review this, complete this, complete this, complete this, turn it in here. Read this, review, complete, complete. And the weeks are pretty much the same. For some classes, that's all we do. We don't have any like a midterm or a final project. Instead, it's just, you just do homework every week. Every week you're learning something new. For some classes, I have like a midterm and a final. For Accounting 100 here, we have both a midterm and a final. Those are just, mixed in with the rest of the homeworks, and you'll find the files for those in the student handouts. And that's a quick overview of Canvas there. Your grade will be right there. Oh, when you do submit homework, let's just see here. I'll switch back to, well, I won't need to really, but when I grade your homework, check to make sure if there's a little comment when it's turned in, or excuse me, when the feedback is granted. And I will always attach or most times I will attach a Word document to the file to the feedback, explaining sort of things that you may have gotten wrong. If it's something you've made an error on a couple of times, I might just write a little bit about the concept, that what's going on and how to correct that. Sometimes it'll just be, a comment that says great job. But check those to make sure that, there's not something you're missing. To give feedback of those to me, I would prefer that you send that as a Canvas message and not use that comment section. The reason why is because on my side, Canvas doesn't do a really good job of surfacing those messages for me. So like a Canvas message will pop up, message, come to my email, message. The comments on the homework are more like, I don't know, something like a text thread that you may have muted. So like there's stuff kind of going on, it's not really alerting you, and you go back and you're like, oh, I missed this, right? And so of course I'm going to look for those, but it's also possible I might miss them, just they get lost in the shuffle. So if you want to make sure that if again, it's some feedback I've given you and you want to talk to me about it, do it as a Canvas message, because that's just a way more secure, not secure, but a way that you'll make sure that the message is going to get to me and that I won't miss it. If you ever send me an email or a message that I haven't gotten back in, like, I don't know, a few days, send it again. I'm usually pretty darn good about responding to people with their emails. If I haven't responded, I probably just forgot or missed it. And I would much rather you email me again and ask me again than have me forget and you not get that question answered, right? So just heads up. If you don't hear from me, write back. It's my bad in that case. And that's kind of, if we talk about what's on Canvas, again, you're going to have homework due every Wednesday. You're going to submit it right here. If there's anything that says anything about an example video, take a look. It will be me going over some homework examples to prep you and to go over the concepts that are in that. And that's pretty much Canvas, right? The last thing I want to talk about here are accessing Microsoft Office and turning in homework. Like I said, everyone who goes to school at Whatcom has access to the student version of Microsoft Office. If you go to the Whatcom website, or there's a link on the syllabus that will take you right to it. It's how to access that program. It's pretty easy to follow. You do need to make sure and use your student email, the one with the .edu at the end, because those are the ones that Microsoft will provide that to, like a Gmail account. Even though it's you and you're a student, it's not going to let you get that free access. It has to be a .edu account. We have Office for PC and Mac. I will say that for some courses and for some assignments, even if you have if you have a Mac and you have Office on there, there might be some assignments that you'll still need to log in what's known as VMware to access. VMware is just it's a remote linkage to the school's network. You'll basically log in from your computer to the school's network and work on a student desktop there. This is the case anytime that the Access program is used. That is just a program that Microsoft and Windows computers have that Macs don't. And so you just simply can't do it because that program doesn't exist. You'll need to use the VMware for that. It's typically only an assignment or two for some people. This is in courses like BTech 121 or OffAd 105. Most everybody else, it's not going to come in, but it's something to be aware of. And then finally, the late work policy and just kind of an overall how to succeed in this class. And it really just does come down to do your homework. That's not me being flip. It is just these courses, the majority of them, it is just simply following directions like a technical manual. And if you can complete that, you will do very well on your homework because it's sort of you do it and it's done and that's what you turn in. The way that people get behind is simply getting behind in turning the homework in. I do take late work through the end of the quarter. Like that is something I will do. I reserve the right to take any points off. I generally don't. I will say that stuff that gets turned in later probably gets graded a little harsher because I figure you've had a little bit more time. So, maybe a typo that I would let slide for someone who turned it in on time, maybe not if you turn it in late. Those are pretty much the only consequences you're going to face. But at the same time, I don't really give incompletes unless it's a medical or family emergency. And so if you get behind, you're going to have a lot of work to do at the end. And I've seen it a number of times. It's this mad dash, mad scramble at the end, very stressful, where it's pretty easy to keep up with the work in these courses. Do that, and you'll succeed. The other thing is if you have any questions at all or confused about anything, is to definitely get a hold of me. Again, through the ways that I mentioned earlier, I'm here to help. It's my job. And I want to make sure that you as a student have resources to help out. I don't want you to feel like you're alone out there, especially for an online student who's just sort of like, here I am with my computer, I don't know what to do. Happy to meet in person, happy to meet on Zoom, share the screen and just kind of go over stuff and get you where you need to go. That's pretty much it. Kind of covers it. If you have any questions at all, of course, again, please just get a hold of me in the ways that I've provided. Canvas messaging, again, being the best one. And other than that, one last thing is these Canvas courses, I've really kind of changed up pretty significantly how I do my, I've set up how I set up my classes, and then having them set up by modules like this and doing week to week like this is new. As you're going through these, again, I got a lot of classes. This is the first few quarters that I'm using these. If you see a mistake, just let me know. If you see something that's confusing, there's a good chance it's just a typo that I made. If you see something misspelled, anything like that, just let me know and I'll clean it up. And if you have any questions about any of it, of course, just let me know. That's about it, everybody. I'm going to stop my share. And good luck to everyone. I hope to see you either virtually or in person this quarter. And if you need me for the course you're in or any other accounting or business courses, just let me know and we can work something out. All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.